Why, hello, everyone. Welcome to the finals, the second round of the finals of the first Final Fantasy I Pixel Remaster Any Percent tournament. I'm Leggy Starscream, joined in the booth by John the Engineer. How you doing?
Hello, hello. I'm ready for some Final Fantasy.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, I missed the first game because it happened at 1 a.m. my time. So, why don't you tell the lovely folks what we're dealing with, what the stakes are for this race?
Yeah, so I also missed it, being that it was 1 a.m., but I caught the VOD. This is game 2 of the best of 3 series for the Final Fantasy I Pixel Remaster tournament, a long, grueling tournament that has whittled a large number of competitors down to just 2, Preucheu and Captain of the Dorks. Making this very much an international competition. These two guys are no slouches in this game. They're both top 5 runners, so this should be a great match.
Indeed. Preucheu is currently up by 1 game in this best of 3 match. So, Captain's life is on the line for this one. Let's see what happens.
Absolutely.
We've got our unskippable 2-minute opening cutscene.
And this is probably a good time maybe to talk about how the first race went. It was neck and neck. Captain held the lead for the majority of it. Preucheu caught up right at the very end, and Chaos, the RNG master that he is, got to decide who was going to win, and Preucheu came out on top.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
But
the two runners have already made one of the biggest choices that will affect the rest of the game is their party structure. I believe they both chose the typical speedrunners fighter, monk, black mage, which you'll see throughout the run why that is currently the ideal party and has been honed by a number of runners over the last year or so.
yeah, there are a couple of safer parties that you can go for. But for these two runners, masters of their craft, very, very, very good runners, are going all in on the fastest known party, using the fastest known strats. Going in, doing some quick shopping. We see Preucheu doing a little bit of quick menuing, setting up some features around the auto battle system to make life just that little bit easier. But both of them neck and neck at this point.
Right. So yes, this the beginning of this race is really just a mad dash to the first boss, who is Garland, who has stolen the princess, holding her captive, and the king has now employed this party to go rescue her.
Mm-hmm.
Ideally, on this little trip up to the castle, we are going to want to see 1 encounter. If you get 2, it's going to take a little bit more time, and depending on what they see is how happy they'll be. Both runners getting a fairly easy initial fight.
Yeah, but both of these are straightforward. I personally prefer Captain's Encounter. It gives a little more experience, I believe. Which is important, because for this first fight, you can go in level 1, take care of it, no problem whatsoever with this party. But for the next fight coming up, you really want to get your fighter up to level 4 so that they can get the second swing on their attacks.
Absolutely. And so what we're looking here as a speedrunner is we're just looking not to take a death anywhere. And it looks like both runners finish off Garland with little difficulty. No issue on Captain's side with taking a little bit of damage because we're going to hit the inn to replenish our spell charges. That's another unique characteristic of this game where the black mages, it's not the typical MP system you're used to, magic point system in Final Fantasy. This one you have spell charges, and when you run out of spell charges of a certain level, you can no longer cast that spell. To replenish them, you have a few options like ethers or resting with a tent or an inn. And so you'll see that throughout this entire run, the management of their spell charges. Very important.
Yeah, eventually we'll get to the point where we just buy way too many ethers and it stops really becoming an issue. But for the first, 60% of the run, managing your spell charges is such a critical skill, and we'll see both of our runners run straight into the next cutscene as they pick up their loot, their first key item, and as they start building the bridge.
Yep, now that you have returned the princess to her rightful throne, the king will no longer hold the construction project of this bridge hostage. He sends his guys out to build this bridge for you to cross and start the rest of the game.
Well, it's like, when you're playing Civilization, you have to stop building that wonder to build, your army to take care of the invasion from the French next door. Except this time it's Garland's.
All right, one quick stop, like we said, to fill up at the inn, replenish our spell charges, and the next thing we're going to be looking for after we get across this bridge with a short cutscene are some ideal battles between here and the next town of Preucheu. We don't want to take deaths if we don't have to, but if we can get some cash from enemies like ogres, that is ideal.
It is worth noting that Captain already has level 3, while Preucheu only has level 2 on his characters. This isn't going to be that big of an issue overall. You still have the same amount of spell charges. Captain just has a little more hit points on his characters, and additionally, a better chance of rolling a strong HP growth on the Black Mages. In Final Fantasy I, every time you level up, you either get a guaranteed strong HP growth, where you get 20 to 25 HP, or you get a weak HP, where you get 5 on the Black Mages, 1 this early because it's dependent on one of your stats. Though on all of the weak levels, there is a chance that you can roll strong HP growth. And one of the big things that really determines how well your early game shapes out is how much HP do your Black Mages have? Right now, they could have only 27 hit points. They could almost have 70, if you get lucky.
Correct, and early on, having those bonus HP growths are huge. So we're going to be keeping an eye on their HP throughout the game. We definitely have a target towards the end of the game, and we'll get into that as we get closer to it. But any extra HP growth would be ideal. And again, trying to get to level 4 before the next town is another ideal situation. We'll see what they run into. Captain getting an ogre, which oftentimes you think is great. However, those Gygus worms can be mighty dangerous.
Yeah, look at
Preucheu running into a pack of 9, which of course you want to run from. Very dangerous.
Oh. Captain losing a Black Mage almost immediately, as Preucheu runs into double ogre, which again, dangerous if they hit the wrong target, but also very valuable if you can take it quickly.
Absolutely. If you can take out 2 ogres, it might be the only thing you need to fight on the way to Preucheu. Captain's struggling with that ogre. He's lost 2 characters now. It's going to be very expensive to revive those guys at this point. Those Gygus worms were more aptly named creeps in the NES version.
Yeah, for my money, if I was doing this as a PB attempt on Captain's side, I'm resetting all the way back to the start of the game.
Absolutely.
I do think there is an argument for Captain going back and healing up in Corneria, but he is fearless, he is brave, he is pushing on, running away from a double ogre and a 4-pack of crazy horses to make it to Preucheu in time. I'm a little worried about his financial situation, though.
Yeah, he may struggle. See, what you do in this town as well is you pick up a couple of temper spells, which you will be using for the later bosses. And then you stay at the inn to replenish all your HP and your spell charges, and then you run over to this boat captain here, the pirates, and you defeat his crew, so you can have another mode of transportation. Preucheu, the first one to get there, given that he did not have to revive anybody. And he's setting pretty well with his financial situation right now. Those two ogres take care of everything you need.
Yeah. On Captain's side, cost him every penny he had, but he was able to do everything he needed here in town before the pirate fight. And these pirates are not very scary. The only way they start becoming an issue is if they, all decide to attack one of your black mages. However, that is unlikely because of the way that Final Fantasy I handles enemies doing single-target effects on your party. The character in the first slot has a 50% chance of being hit. That's the fighter, that's why we have the fighter there. 25% of the time, they'll go after the second slot, which is our monk. And then the two black mages in the back are a 1 in 8 each.
Oh my goodness, and so the next part of this run is getting into the ocean and making your way across it. And the first thing that Preucheu runs into is a pack of 5 buccaneers. This is the best thing you can run into financially. This period of the game, every gil is important, and the buccaneers drop a lot of them. 600 gil for each one of these fights. And when we get to Elfheim, we'll talk a little bit more about how much gil you need and what you're going to buy with it. He also gets a saber drop. Preucheu getting great luck early.
Yeah, no,
Oh my gosh, a second one. Preucheu is going to be
How is
swimming
Preucheu
in
getting
cash.
so lucky? This is incredible!
He might as well just, go for his PB at this point.
Right?
Getting 2 sets of buccaneers. At that point, I might consider just skipping Cornelia altogether. Usually you take a pit stop at Cornelia to reset your spell charges at the inn, and then you continue on to the south, collecting more gil. You collect this because spells you have to purchase in this game, and the spells get more and more expensive the further on you get. And one of the spells you need, essentially, in Elfheim, is Thundara. You usually have enough money to buy it for one of your black mages. You'll have to go back and buy the other one later. But Preucheu is just racking up the cash. He does take 1 death, but he will stop in Cornelia. Oh no, he is going to go ahead and go on to Elfheim, where it's a little bit more expensive to revive. But
He's got the money for it.
And he's got the money.
Oh yeah, he's sitting on 2,100 right now. That, if I see 2,100 gil going into Elfheim, I am just ecstatic.
Correct. So you spend 1,000 on your Black Mage's Thundara spell. You take a stop at the inn, and if you have about 800 gil left over for items, that is certainly doable. You want a handful of antidotes in case you get poisoned, and a small stack of potions to take you through the next cave, which is the Marsh Cave. So Preucheu is resting up, and I think he'll hit the inn and take off after this at a great pace of 13 minutes.
Yeah, over on Captain's side, not getting the worst encounters, but definitely not as good as the Buccaneers that Preucheu got. Sharks are worth a great bit of money and experience. The Red Sahagins are also valuable fights to take, though, again, nothing is as good as those Buccaneers.
Interesting. Preucheu, of course, selling off everything he doesn't need, because you always need the extra gil. He did equip his fighter with that saber he picked up, and went ahead and bought a handful of potions and antidotes.
I don't hate the saber equip. The saber is worth, I believe, 180 gil, which isn't trivial. That is a fair bit of money at this stage of the game. However, it does offer a decent amount of extra damage from that fighter And especially down here in Marsh Cave, that can be important.
Certainly. And Captain, he is hanging outside of Cornelia, doing a little bit of a grind for some cash due to the deaths and the non-ideal encounters. He has to take a few extra battles, and it is a safety strat to grind outside of Cornelia just because it's so cheap to revive and so quick to get to the end.
Yeah, like, these ocean encounters can be deadly, especially for your black mages if they decide to target things badly. And also, it helps that the inn is also cheaper here.
Correct. And so Preucheu is already on the second floor of the Marsh Cave. There are 3 total floors. Nothing to see, nothing to pick up as he runs through them as quickly as possible, trying to avoid taking too much damage. There are a few items, a coveted Phoenix Down, which is a revive potion that he will pick up on the 3rd floor, as well as an extra potion and a cottage.
Yeah, the cottage sells for 1,000 gil, and we've already hyped up the importance of money at this stage of the game. Eventually, it becomes a non-factor, but until we get to, oh gosh, probably Ice Cave, every single penny counts.
Absolutely. You pour all your money into healing items.
And of course, in the Pixel Remaster version, all of the item shops carry the same selection, so you can go into any item shop you want and buy a Phoenix Down, but that's 500 gil. So picking up the one here is basically a free 500 gil.
Absolutely. And Preucheu escaping from some dangerous battles there. You don't want to see scorpions in the Marsh Cave. They can hurt. And he's now coming upon the Pisco Demons. They hit hard, and you want to get the battle over with in one round if possible, surviving with as many characters as you can. Ideally, a preemptive strike will help you take care of that, but he's going to quick save and jump into this battle and hope for the best.
Yeah, this is the first real wall of the run, and if the Pisco Demons decide to not play nice, this could be a moment where Captain manages to pick up a fair bit of time. Look at that. One of them punching the monk right in the face, one shot down. Both of the melees are dead. 2 of the Piscos do go down, but yep, there's the reset.
Yep, Preucheu decides to reset, and that is a strategy, given that he does a quick save right outside of the battle, something that is probably done quite often as a safety strat. Just in case you need to jettison a bad run, you can start from wherever you last quick saved. He gets the preemptive on the second try, which means he's likely to get through this battle unscathed. We'll see how this Thundara cast goes.
Yeah, Thundara is a damage roll to kill the Pisco Demons it hits. And ideally, you roll high enough that you take out one of them on your own. But manages to take it down with just, half the monk's HP down, but, you only need that last one, so that's a clean kill.
On the second round of attacks, he strategically only attacked with the fighter, who has that saber, and defended on everybody else. Defend is an option that you can use if you do not want to run away and you do not want to attack, and it will actually help defend against melee attacks and reduce the impact that each one of those hits has HP-wise.
Yeah, and you'll notice that as Preucheu tries to get away from these oozes and spiders and whatnot, he used the Flee command on 3 of his characters, but cast Thundara with the 4th. Flee is a random chance to run away, so you can have a situation where all 4 of your characters just fail to get away from an encounter. So having that Thundara cast in the back as a option to basically say, okay, even if I don't run away, I'm still blasting this encounter with lightning, and that will kill them all. So, one way or another, this fight is over this first round.
Absolutely. So we have these guys crossing paths at this point. So Preucheu on his way out, Captain on his way in. Again, still anybody's race. There's a lot more game to be played, but after Preucheu jumps out of this cave, he is going to be heading north. They picked up from that treasure box that the Pisco demons were guarding a crown, and this crown is something that Astos seeks in exchange for
Wait, who's
other
Astos?
items. Who's Astos? So if you were playing the game casually, you may have stumbled upon a castle north of here with a prince in disguise that's in search of this crown and ends up being the evil elf Astos. So in the speedrun, you get none of this background information. You just haul in there, you throw a crown at him, and he attacks you. And so, again, this is another one of those bosses, just like Pisco's, where he can do some serious damage, this time with magic spells. So what we're going to ideally look for is some melee attacks or some of the attacks that don't really harm your characters, like haste.
Yeah, so this is where we're going to start to see one of the biggest departures between this version of Final Fantasy and all prior versions. In this game, enemies have their attacks, they also have special abilities and spells that they can cast, and there's a percentage chance each round for any enemy to do any one of those actions. So, Astos... I forget the actual numbers, but it could be like 30% to attack, 10% to cast Fire, and 10% to cast Sleep, etc. In prior versions of Final Fantasy I, instead of being this percentage chance to cast any one of their spells, they have a specific order in which their spells are in their pool. So Astos will always cast Rub or Death first, then another spell, going down the line.
Yep, and Preucheu just fell victim to a double cast of magic, so he lost all of his party members. Again, these guys will quick save right before they jump into a boss encounter, so there's not a lot of time loss outside of what was lost in the battle. So Preucheu going with the strat to buff up the monk and then attack as much as possible.
Yeah, like in prior versions of this game, if you see any one of Astos' AoE spells, something's gone horribly wrong because it's his 4th and 5th spell in his script. In this version, Astos can just, not only open with Fyra, but can just cast it all day.
Ooh. So Preucheu did get a Fyra cast. It took out his low HP Black Mage, but he was able to survive it. So he will, with this party, limp back to Elfheim.
Mithril Sword drop too.
Did he
Preucheu
really?
getting
Are you
all
kidding
of the
me?
luck?
My goodness. That is a very, very rare drop. It's a 4% drop, or 4% chance for Astos to drop that sword. And Preucheu trying to figure out how that happened. As he uses that tent, he can now use that cottage. He no longer probably has to worry about money because that mithril sword is going to sell for a lot of gold.
Yeah, I forget exactly how much, but it is a fair bit. Captain, I was not paying attention to Captain's menuing the shop earlier, but clearly picked up a tent in Elfheim before trekking out to Marsh Cave specifically for use here, so that he could afford to use his spells a bit more liberally in Marsh Cave to have a bit of an easier time getting through it.
And he also I believe it was a first try Pisco Demon, so if he can get a first try Astos, that's just clawing away at that time gap that he has behind Preucheu.
Yeah, but look at this encounter that Preucheu picked up.
Yeah, he's having some great encounter luck. There's no doubt about that. So the next thing Preucheu is doing is he's coming back to recharge his spells. At the inn, he's going to pick up that Thundara cast for his second Black Mage, and he once he defeated Astos, received the Glass Eye, I believe.
Yes,
And
Matoya's Crystal Eye.
Crystal Eye, that's right. I'm still used to the NES version. And he's going to take that Crystal Eye, and we're going to go up to Matoya, another character the speedrunners chose not to encounter, as she is out of the way. And they will be completing that fetch quest up to Matoya, who will be able to give a potion to wake the Elf Prince. Again, none of these characters we've seen yet, because we don't talk to NPCs when we speedrun. Ooh, interesting strat. Preucheu, because he is flush with gold, decided to buy his haste spell early. That is a good time savings later down the road. He will not have to come back to buy that spell later, saving him probably about 30 seconds.
Yeah, and on Captain's side, got a very, very friendly Astos fight. Astos spent his whole time casting slow over and over and over, which does not do anything. Slow only applies once to a character, and does not stack. But Captain was able to get a very straightforward first try Astos.
And so that will actually help him catch up just a little bit more. Now he is short on gold compared to Preucheu. He may not choose to buy haste. We'll take a look here in just a second. But he is clawing back on that time gap. Let's see.
He has enough money for it.
And he's choosing to buy items. Oh, nope. Thought better of it. He's going to pick up haste and keep pace with Preucheu.
Yeah, both of our runners actually coming away from Marsh Cave with enough money to pick up haste, which I know that when I do runs, that is not guaranteed.
Correct. Yeah, usually it's it's sometimes the second trip back when you come back after Matoya. Oh, and Preucheu is not stopping to pick up treasures. He is just hauling through this game, choosing not to pick up that extra potion, an antidote over there in the Witch's Cave there. And then we returned that Crystal Eye and received a Jolt Tonic. No sponsor included by Red Bull. And he's going to take that Jolt Tonic all the way down to the Elf Prince, wake him up to complete the fetch questing.
Yeah, if I'm Preucheu, I'm feeling very confident right now, so I'm looking for all those little time saves that I know I can get away with. Skipping the potions and the antidote is, something that you can do very easily if, you're feeling good on your consumable resources. Also, shoutouts to Captain getting his 2 5 packs of Buccaneers while Preucheu finds another one. Yeah. Our runners are just, rolling in cash today.
Yeah, this is incredible to see that number of encounters with $5. I swear I go whole nights never seeing them.
Right?
Incredible. So, Captain choosing to pick up those extra couple of items, spend 2 or 3 seconds there, and start chasing after Preucheu, who is now about to enter Elfheim for the second time to take that Jolt Tonic to the Elf Prince, who will awaken from his nap and hand you these strangers a set of keys to a whole bunch of rooms all over the map. And this Mystic Key opens a number of doors, only a few of which we're going to go ahead and jump into. Many of the rooms and treasures are not worthwhile for the speedrunner, maybe for the casual runner, but the speedrunner is interested in a few of these items here in the Elf Castle. You'll see Preucheu run around the outside of the castle, retrieve these items for the sole purpose of selling them for money. Again, thank you for your treasure. I'm going to go pawn it now. And these guys will use that money, of course, to buy items because the next adventure, Preucheu with an accidental entrance into the town, the next adventure is in a location that does not have an item shop. So everything he's going to carry forward for the next 30-40 minutes, he has to stock up now.
Yeah, Um, we're getting into what I like to call my favorite part of the run, Smile. um, so here we're looking for a couple of things. We've got a few level benchmarks we want to hit on our Black Mages. We've got one very particular encounter we want to find in the Earth Cave, and we also want our Black Mages to get at least 140 HP each.
Absolutely. So Preucheu, wrapping up those treasure grabs, he just now picked up the nitro powder, or TNT, as we like to call it, where they've up to this point been captive in this part of the ocean, and they know a guy who knows a guy who can blow a hole into the landmass there, and they will use that escape to make their way to the next area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the big thing that our runners are looking for right now is hitting level 12 on those Black Mages. Because, as you can see, as the mages level up, they get more spell charges. They also start getting spell charges of higher and higher levels as they go. Level 12 is the first level where a Black Mage can cast level 5 magic. This is important because in the next town, Melmond, is where you buy level 5 spells. In particular, the spell we're hoping to pick up there is Firaga, which is a significant damage upgrade over our Thundara that we've been using. It's fire elemental, so it's not going to work as well on the fish, but it is going to do an incredible amount of work on the undead of Earth Cave.
And I kept an eye on Preucheu's item purchase. He was able to buy plenty of items with all the gold he's been raking in. Picked up a couple of gold needles just for safety. You'll see why a little later. Picked up a whole bunch of ethers and potions because, again, there's not an item shop anywhere near the next section, and he's got to stock up for that deep dive into the Earth Cave.
Yeah, Captain also flush with money. One of the things that runners can choose to do here is take a moment and not spend all of their money on consumables. If they save a little over 2,000 gil coming out of the item shop, they will have enough to afford an armor upgrade for a Black Mage once they get to Melmond, in addition to the magic that they want to pick up. Neither of our runners seem to be really interested in saving money. They just want to go fast, and they want to have... They're valuing having the resources to heal up over the preventative measure of one piece of armor on one of the Black Mages. Which is a trade-off that, I've seen people come down on both sides of.
I'm going to say the best defense is a good offense. So skip the armlets and... tear it up with the spells.
Yeah. And those extra ethers will allow our runners to go ham.
Absolutely. And we can see Captain is now handing over that nitro powder to blow a hole in the wall. And as you can see, they're pretty neck and neck. I mean, there is less than a minute separating these two. Captain has done a great job clawing back after that really, really rough start.
Yeah. Preucheu finishing just over 31 minutes with the cutscene. 33 minutes and 1 second, apologies. And I'll get a time for when Captain wraps up as that, that Mystic Key we got earlier? Turns out it also works on the Dwarven Treasury. Who knew?
And we'll do the same thing. We'll pick it all up and we'll sell it as soon as we take their treasure.
Well, there's a couple ethers in there. There's like a potion. They're still good.
There's a cottage. There's a helmet. But we're going to sell it all, and we're going to buy some Firaga. Because, like I said, it gets more and more expensive for every level of spells that you want to purchase. And Firaga is 4,000 gil a pop.
Yeah, our runners are less than 40 seconds apart right now. Coming out of the TNT cutscene.
we go. And Preucheu, you'll see, will make a mad dash after he heals up to the weapon shop. He will sell some of that treasure he just picked up. He's going to grab Fyraga and then waste no time getting straight to the Earth Cave. The only cave that we deep dive into twice. There are a number of bosses in that cave, and we have to dive twice to vanquish both of them.
Yep. And as we see, Preucheu picks up the 2 copies of the Big Fireball. And starts wandering down, down, down into the depths of the earth.
Yep, and so this is, like I said, we had spoken about charge management. So this is where I think charge management really comes into play, where these runners in their head are keeping track of how many charges they have of each spell on their mages, just to know how many ethers they have to use, how many they have to save. They have to save strategically 6 for the final boss in this cave, just to ensure that they have enough spell casts of Fyraga to kill him. The first boss they're going to run into, the vampire, only needs 1 cast per mage, which is why they have that threshold of the level 12 bar to hit. And once he hits that, should be no problem, and he can be a little bit more selective in the fights he takes and the fights he runs from. This is another good checkpoint where the runners really need to focus on what do I want to fight and what do I want to run from.
Yeah, and on Preucheu's side, already got level 12 on that bottom black mage. The top one, I think, took a unfortunate death earlier, and so is a little bit behind on XP compared to the other one. But this fight, worth plenty of XP, should get very close to that level 12 threshold. This should not be an issue. On Captain's side, we see that bottom black mage with 146 HP already. That is incredible. That mage is ready for Lich, which is always amazing to see on your first dive into Earth Cave.
Absolutely. When you have a couple of lucky or the HP boosts that are not scheduled, the random ones, those go a long way to really helping you get through the first part of this game. Chat noting some people only buy 6 ethers for the Earth Cave. Those people are crazy, and I have no idea how they do it.
They are more powerful than I could ever be.
I always like to get, if I can get 25, that's ideal. But 20 is usually my minimum.
And let's face it, we're birds of a feather in that particular regard. Now that our runners are both about to hit Earth Cave Floor 3, there is one particular random encounter that they are looking for here.
Jerk
in
birds.
particular, they are looking for cockatrices. Cockatrice have Stone Touch. When they attack you with their melee attacks, they have a chance to petrify a character. We want our 2 melee characters to be petrified for a number of reasons. The first and biggest is they still get XP. So when that monk is turned to stone, he'll still be leveling up. You don't need to worry about having to grind for experience on that monk later. The second one is, while our characters are turned to stone, they can still be chosen as the target for single target attacks, including melee hits and single target spells. So, if we petrify the fighter, half of all melee hits suddenly do 0 damage to the party. We no longer need to worry about healing that fighter with potions because no damage is happening.
I call that Operation Human Shield, and those melee fighters become essentially the shield, taking unnecessary damage away from your characters, saving you potions and menuing time, having to go and heal them, and they kind of sit there and serve the purpose of taking hits. Preucheu did not run into those cockatrices. Again, we call them jerk birds because they never show up when you want them to, and sometimes they don't petrify the characters you want. So they're affectionately called jerk birds, and Preucheu did not run into them yet. This is the floor that you really would like to see them on. He already went to kill the vampire, picked up a ruby for use later, and then is going to traverse back out of this cave to go get an earth rod, which will break a plate and allow him to go deeper into this cave.
Yeah, Captain, still hot on his heels, already has level 13 on both of the Black Mages, which means that even though the vampire is able to petrify one of the Black Mages, the second one still has 2 charges of Firaga, so this fight is still over just as quickly.
Ooh, we get some jerk birds. And as you can see, Preucheu is just defending, or he's going to whittle him down maybe to 2 jerk birds for safety. And he's just going to sit there and wait. Yeah, he's going to sit there and wait until his melee characters are petrified. Captain runs into a set of jerk birds, and he's going to do the same thing. They're just going to sit here and wait to be petrified. Riveting stuff to watch.
Yeah, there are a couple of philosophies around how best to get your party petrified. Once you get the fighter petrified, I know some people don't like sitting around and waiting, and will instead switch the monk into that first slot and try and fish for a second pack of jerk birds. Other people will just sit there and wait, like we see both of our runners doing, which is probably safer overall in this sort of race setting.
If you noticed, my heart skipped for Preucheu there for a second because he had 3 characters petrified, and those jerk birds, with their last 2 hits before being Thundara'd, attacked the Black Mage, which is very risky because if they petrify that 4th character, game over.
Yep.
That would be a lot of time to lose. So now that you have 2 human shields, as you can see, absorbing a lot of those random swings from the enemies, the Black Mages now are free to just run or cast those AoE attacks, and that's how we're going to expeditiously get through most of the fights from here on out.
Yeah, that fighter gets to enjoy the vacation as a rock. We are not unpetrifying that fighter for the rest of the run. The monk, we'll get back to. But for now, 75% of all single target attacks are completely ineffective on the party. This allows us to save a great deal on potions, because those 25% that do get through still hurt a lot. Black mages are squishy. Especially
when you didn't pick up any silver armlets. So Captain is on his way out of the Earth Cave. Preucheu is now coming upon the Titan, which he will feed the ruby, because that is his favorite snack. And of course, if you just feed him a ruby, he apparently leaves his post. He is the worst guard ever.
I do want to take a moment and call out that Captain had another level up and has 146 HP on the lower HP Black Mage. That is incredible. That is, frankly, the stuff that dreams are made of. Preucheu's Mage HP is a bit more typical. 108 and 132 on those Black Mages is not great, but, you know, you're not really going to complain about one of them being up that high.
And the other thing we're looking for on this little walk to get the Earth Rod are lesser tigers. They are the dream encounter between Earth Cave and Sardis Cave. And the reason for that is there is a tiny % chance that they can drop an X potion, which is a full heal. The reason why it's so important is that you need a couple of them for the final boss, and you have to go out of your way to find them, and that takes time from the speedrun. So if you are lucky enough to get a rare drop of an X potion from a lesser tiger here in this area, you can save time by not going out of your way later.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't look like
they
Preucheu
also appear
is
in
getting
a
any, though.
couple other locations, but here is the best place to find them. You're walking around here a lot, and you can get up to 3 in a single pack.
Yeah, and usually when I find them later, it's already too late. I've already gone out of my way to pick up the X potions.
Right?
So,
I do know some people route going for... Oh, speak of the devil!
here we go. Captain gets the first set of lesser tigers. We're going to be keeping a very close eye on the drop menu. Let's see what he gets. Oh, he gets one!
Yo! Let's go!
That's what we're talking about. It's about time Captain gets some serious luck on his side. We'll see if he chooses to go and hunt for the X potions up in the Dragon Isles. I mean, maybe he just goes for one, saves a little time. I mean, we're seconds apart here. It could make the difference.
Yeah, I could also see the universe where he goes, you know what? I'm going to go for it. And just pick it up and bring 4 full heals into the chaos fight, which is very good.
4 is absolutely comfy. I think 3 is standard. 2 is running it awfully tight. And so now that we've gotten the Earth Rod, we are able to dump back into the Earth Cave, go all the way through to the 5th floor, and find the Fiend Lich waiting for us. Again, these guys have been grinding selective battles to get their characters, their Black Mages specifically, up to level 15. So he can cast Firaga 3 times per mage, and that should be enough to take Lich out. Oh, Captain hoping he got another X-Pot out of that Lesser Tiger, but unfortunately, he can't be that lucky.
Yeah, like... It is still a very, very low drop.
It is. It's only fair
fact that we saw one between both runners is just incredible, especially on top of that saber drop and that mithril sword drop. At this rate, I'm just going to call it. We're going to see a robot.
It's quite possible. I mean, we saw all those sets of $5. I mean, we're seeing some of the most rare stuff just pop into all these 2 runners' paths. So you know what? Let's go for a war mech. Bonus points for war mech. And for those not familiar with the game, there is a small tunnel in a castle further along in the game where there's a very, very small chance, I believe 164 chance to run into Warmech, which is arguably the toughest single enemy in the game, not excluding bosses there, and has the capability to easily wipe your party with reckless abandon. But these folks are smart enough; they'll know to do a quick save before they run down that tunnel. But given that we're seeing rare things pop up left and right, I would love to see a war mech. These runners would not.
Over on Captain's side, that is level 15 on both Black Mages. We will need our Black Mages to hit level 16 shortly after we get out of this cave, so a little bit of extra experience never hurts. Especially because we're starting to get up to the point where black mages have their intelligence growth as their high stat, so they are growing intelligence at a fixed rate and relatively quickly. When in this game, the way that intelligence works is every 10 points of intelligence basically adds a multiplier on the damage you do with your spells. When our black mages hit 30 intelligence, they'll go from a ×2 on damage to a ×3. And if we can see that before Lich, that makes the fight way safer. You go from a 4-round fight most of the time to a 3-round fight, almost guaranteed. Additionally, level 16 is when you start getting level 6 spells, which we'll be picking up in the next town once we get right out of here. So, it may look like our runners are taking a little extra time, still taking a bunch of encounters even though they've hit the threshold, but the more experience you can get, the better. Especially if you're in Preucheu's shoes, where 134 HP on the Black Mages is good, but it could always be better.
And speaking of better HP on Black Mages, over on Captain's side, his second Black Mage is clocking in at a ridiculous 175. When your Black Mage is keeping pace with your Monk on HP, I mean, that is a good day.
Oh, yeah.
So the other thing, let's see, Preucheu is... I think he's on the 5th floor. He has got Lich right around the corner. We're going to see how quickly he can take out Lich. Again, he is going to use his Ethers to replenish all of his Firaga charges, and depending on the intelligence level of his Black Mages, he's going to try and knock him out with 5 Firagas before Lich kills his party. Lich has the propensity to cast spells, and it's sometimes tough to survive, especially if he casts 2 in a row.
Yeah. In general, 2 spells will wipe the party. And at this point, on Preucheu's side, a single Blizzara will wipe the party. Most of the time. There is a chance these Black Mages live through the Blizzara, but there's also a very good chance that the Blizzara just takes them out.
Preucheu takes 2 spells, which is, at this point, almost impossible to recover from. So he takes a death to Lich and goes for a second attempt, trying to avoid these spells.
Yeah. Even Captain's Black Mages, with all their ridiculous piles of HP, still will not live any 2 damage spells for Lich.
First cast slow from Lich, not a bad thing to see. Does not affect the Black Mages, as they are casting spells, not melee. Allowing Preucheu to get a couple more Firagas out. He is going to need a Thundaga to finish him off. A hold spell, which does absolutely nothing to a rock. And hopefully he can finish him off here. That should do it.
Woo!
GG's, Preucheu has got 1 Fiend down. And just as he withers away into nothingness, Captain is hauling right behind him. If he can take out Lich on the first go, that would go a long way to catching up.
Yeah. A 52-minute Lich kill is nothing to sneeze at either.
Absolutely, yeah.
Both of these runners are on an incredible pace.
Oh yeah, they're certainly looking at easily sub 2, possibly sub 155 if things continue to go well.
Yeah.
And it looks like a nice hold cast from Lich, allowing Captain to get a couple of Firaga spells off. E2 does not have the intelligence quotient to do it in 6 spells.
Yeah. It's rare, but it is possible. Captain's Black Mages spent a little too much time rolling high on HP instead, I guess.
Oh, right.
But that is a first try Lich.
Yeah, first try Lich. That absolutely allows him to catch up just a little bit more. So, again, Captain just moments behind Preucheu, closing that gap. I'm thinking we might see a reversal in the roles we saw in the first match, where Preucheu was keeping pace right behind Captain.
Yeah, and of course at this point, you remember when we were on the ocean right at the beginning of the game, and like some of these encounters were really scary. At this point, our runners have killed a fiend of the elements. The oceans are not scary anymore. These encounters are just annoying.
Oh, another set of lesser tigers for Captain. If he could have gotten an X-Pot, that would have been huge.
Right.
So the next place they're heading is to the southeast portion of the map, which he'll find the town of Crescent Lake, where we're going to be picking up our next spell of Thundaga. We're going to get a couple of those. They've been stocking away money and saving up, this time, 13,000 gil per spell, so they'll be spending 26,000 gil to stock up on Thundaga. And then they're going to replenish their items. If you remember, it's been a long time since their last item haul. Preucheu choosing to go to the item shop first. He will spend as carefully as possible, selling off everything he doesn't need, and making sure that he leaves himself 26,000 gil to purchase Thundaga. And then Captain right behind him will be doing the same thing shortly. And then once Preucheu is finished with the item shop, he is going to traverse to the other side of this town, where there will be a circle of old men sitting in a forest for some reason. Not explained. They are the Circle of Sages. And it is necessary to go talk to these guys. Again, we don't talk to NPCs if we don't have to, but this guy has something we need. He has the canoe. It's a smaller method of travel, allowing us to go through the rivers and the lakes that we're used to, and go up the small river to the ice cave, which will be the next destination for these runners. These runners, so you might be thinking about this game, about how how RNG heavy it is, and you might start to think that RNG is the main driver in this game for getting a good time. However, there is a great deal of skill in addition to getting good RNG and luck. But if you notice, you have a split second as every enemy encounter pops up. You have a split second to make a decision. The faster you can look at the enemy group, identify what they are, know what you're going to do, and make the inputs, the faster you can do all that menuing, the more time you will save over the duration of the entire run. I mean, 70, 80, 90 battles, all of those split seconds really start to add up. So the top runners you'll see have incredible menuing, not just in their menu to heal, but in their menuing when choosing to fight characters. Or sorry, fight enemies. They have to choose the right spell. They have to get there and execute as quickly as possible. Ooh, Preucheu taking a tough death.
That is rough. How? Oh, luckily.
Yeah, luckily. Yeah, he quick saved just before he jumped into that creek, or that river there, which is something you definitely want to do, because this river has those white crocs and a number of other enemies that hit really hard. As you can see, another mage down. Good grief.
Yeah, no. This river in this version is much harder than it is in several previous versions, because they decided that, all rivers have the same enemy encounters on them. Don't worry about it. It'll be fine. And they took the harder of the encounter formations and said, let's put those everywhere. But yeah, going back to your point earlier about RNG and how it affects runs, like, yes, RNG is going to be the difference between getting a good time and getting an amazing time, but there is still a lot of, understanding the maps and where to go, understanding which boxes to open when in response to the RNG, understanding, okay, I got good RNG here. This means I can sell that Mithril Saber and use my cottage instead.
Yep, and these are two of the best runners that know how to do that. Again, making those split-second decisions and executing. Hesitation will add up, and hesitation kills runs.
Mm-hmm.
So Captain also making his way down the river, taking the Niocho fight, one of the few fights that may be worthwhile on the river. A lot of them are run-worthy, and from this point forward, the runners will be fairly selective on which battles they take. Ideally, they want to run into something that they can defeat with one spell cast, because that is the fastest fight you can encounter. If you have to start casting multiple rounds or multiple times, all that time starts to add up. So they're going to be selective. They're going to try and run from the things that aren't worthwhile and vanquish the things that they can kill quickly.
On the other side of the coin, in addition to considering how much reward and how much time it takes to kill a fight, the other side is, okay, what happens if this fight takes multiple turns to run away from? Am I likely to be able to sit here and tank those attacks while I'm trying to run? As you see Preucheu taking out that white dragon earlier, that enemy does a lot of damage to your party very quickly, so it is much more efficient, rather than relying on the RNG to get away, to just, okay, I'm just going to blast it, it's going to go down, I know it's only going to take 2 casts.
Yep, and for some of you guys that really know the game and have played it many, many times, you might be wondering to yourself, hold on, why are they in the ice cave? Shouldn't they have gone to Gurgu Volcano? And that is a valid question. But these are speedrunners, and they have found that the fastest way is to do these things out of order. The game allows you to fight the fiends out of order, and there's not a required order for them, so it is actually faster to do the ice cave, get yourself an airship, and just land at the volcano at another date and time.
Yeah, in fact, does the NES go straight to the volcano?
It does not. I believe you can do those out of order as well, because you can class change before getting to carry.
Yes. Basically, my point being that I don't think any speedrun of Final Fantasy I does Volcano before Ice Cave. It's just a little too far out of the way to like snake your way around the river when you can just fly there directly and back. Now, folks might be asking, oh, well, why don't you just fly to Ice Cave then? That seems like a really treacherous canoe ride, and, you know, it's a little bit snaky too. And the sad answer is, well, you need to go into Ice Cave to get the airship.
Yeah, they have the levitation stone. It's called the floater in the original, and that is the stone that allows you to raise the ship from its resting place, oddly, in a random desert somewhere. Sid would be pissed. But there's a few items of note here in the ice cave as Preucheu fights the evil eye boss that is guarding the levitation stone. There is a 10,000 gil treasure, which will certainly help for purchasing some items and spells later. And there's a few other treasures that get sidestepped. If you're really strapped for cash, you can grab a few things, but you see Captain grab 2 of those 3 treasures. One being cash, the other being an ice shield, which is good for selling. And that middle one was skipped because it's just not worth it. I believe it's a sleeping bag.
Yep, which is, like, it doesn't even give you spell charges back. It's bad.
And that goes back to just having the skill and the knowledge, knowing what is the bare minimum I need to grab and pick up to survive and get through this game.
Mhm.
Yeah, Captain is getting great luck, incredible HP. Um, all this is gonna really add up down the road. Um, some of the things where he may be trailing now, there are extra battles he may not need to take later in the game, which may allow him to catch up even more in Preucheu. Not to mention, there is a cave he does not have to dive in if he doesn't want to, and still have 3 full health potions.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see where Captain falls on the I don't have to dive into the cave versus I want the extra healing for the chaos fight. Because both of those are actually, really compelling arguments.
In a
Having the extra heal for chaos could be a difference maker if that fight starts going long. On the other hand, if you don't have to go out of your way into a random cave to pick up a box, that's also a time save.
Yeah, I think in a race, maybe for safety, I might grab the extra X potion. But if I were attempting a PB, I would probably just go for the single elixir.
Yeah. There's an argument to stopping by one of the 2 dragon caves, the one that also has a little bit of extra money in it.
That's true.
And picking up that one as your 3rd pickup, just because, it's a little extra cash as well, especially at this stage of the game, you're just trying to amass as much wealth as you possibly can.
Yep, because there are just a few more opportunities and times that they're going to be purchasing items and spells, and that will be coming up. And again, everything gets more and more expensive, so they're going to hoard that cash and see what they can purchase just before the end. Preucheu is out of the canoe. He is back in his ship, and he is heading over to get his new shiny airship.
And I believe Captain's ship is just off screen.
Oh, man.
These 2 runners have been neck and neck this entire race. This is such an incredible thing to watch.
All right, so there are a few different routes they can take from here. Once Preucheu gets his airship, there's a couple of different orders in which you can retrieve your full heals. He already has his haste, so he doesn't have to go back for that. He still has to get to the waterfall is the next place he's going to go, but we'll see what order he does everything in.
Yeah, I think the big divergence we're going to see from our runners is whether or not they decide to go to the dragon caves first or later. I think both of our runners are going to take out Tiamat third, because they already have the haste spell, so there's no real reason to do my preferred route.
Correct. Yep. And like I said, there are a number of ways to skin this cat. You can take a number of different paths and still achieve the same outcome. It's just a matter of which way you want to do it. They're all seconds apart in strategy. And Preucheu choosing to just quickly grab that second one and get back on the road. And his next destination will be the waterfall. We'll have to park far away because the airship doesn't land in anything but a nice flat surface. And he's got a long walk and a canoe ride up through the waterfall.
Yeah, it looks like Captain is taking the same route, going into the cave that I mentioned earlier that has all the extra money in it. We'll see if Captain stops in the other cave as well, or if he decides to continue on to the waterfall cave.
He skips it. Let's go.
Yo, okay. Both of our runners are, following the exact same pattern and route.
That makes it fun. They are literally seconds apart. So Preucheu entering the waterfall cave at, was that 108.30? and Captain right behind him. So this is an interesting cave here behind the waterfall. It is one large floor. So the danger in this is that if you run into an enemy, probably the green dragon or the gas dragon, and it wipes your party, if you do not quick save, you will go all the way back to the beginning of this floor, and it is a long time loss. You can see poison gas right there. If he were to do another one without dying, he could be sent back a good distance, but he survives. That's good. So that's the dangerous piece of this cave, is that it's just so long. But a lot of these enemies have a lot of gold you can pick up. A lot of them you can kill with a single spell, or at least a single round of spells, and you can get a good bit of XP boost out of it.
And at this point, our runners are not really caring much about what they're getting from their black mages anymore. The black mages are doing their job just fine. Any HP they can get on is always welcome, but it isn't really as necessary anymore. The big thing our runners are going to be watching is the HP growth on that monk. Because once we bring the monk back from, the Rocky Vacation, that monk will need to have enough hit points to be able to survive some of the onslaught coming from the enemies.
So Preucheu speaking to the robot to get the cube, which is an item that will help him access a tower later in the game. And then he picks up something that is very, very important. In one of these boxes was a ribbon. A ribbon is a defensive piece of armor, which halves all of the elemental spells that are thrown at you, so it reduces a lot of damage that you'll have to take, and it also makes you impervious to instant kill for the most part. There's always that tiny random chance it gets through there, but for the most part your instant kill threat is eliminated. So the game has 3 of these in total. Preucheu picked up the first one here. There's another one later in the Sea Shrine, and one more even further after that in the Sky Castle. And he will certainly be picking up all 3 to help defend his characters against damage.
You missed, of course, the most important part of equipping the ribbon.
It looks cool.
It looks really cute.
Yeah, unfortunately, in this Final Fantasy, you don't get to see all the armor they put on. It is cool that they did have different sprites for the swords, not just in this game, but in the NES version. So it was always fun to see the different sprites that the characters wielded. But if we could have seen them strap on the ribbon, like they take off the steel helmet and they strap the ribbon around their head, would have loved it.
Yeah, I personally believe that black mages just tie it around the hat.
That I would have, yeah, that'd be it. And if they didn't have a bow on it, I'd be upset.
But yeah, that's another one of the great reasons that we can just leave the fighter petrified. There's only 3 ribbons. There's 4 party members. Someone's got to go without. So
it's like the game knew that you would be speedrunning
right?
it with 3 characters.
So yeah, just being able to leave the fighter petrified and just not have to worry about getting any extra defensive equipment. If we promote the fighter, we can almost build our own ribbon out of various pieces of defensive armor that the knight can equip after we promote. Between the dragon armor, a pro ring, and the Aegis shield, you're protected out of 7 of the 8 elements of this game.
So one story note, we're seeing Preucheu just wrapping up with it, and Captain picking up a fairy in a bottle from a random man in the desert. Not sure how he knew to do this or why it's even necessary, but we don't talk to NPCs. We just do what we need to. And he buys the fairy in the bottle, which, as you can see, Preucheu just released in the town of Gaia, and he is picking up the last few items he's going to need. In addition, before he left that vendor in the desert, they picked up a few extra buff spells. This version of the game allows you to buy a couple of potions that will temporarily increase your HP and also increase your speed, among other things. So these guys choose the speed spells, or sorry, the speed potions and the Giant's tonics. And you'll see those used later against Chaos.
Interestingly, Preucheu only bought one copy of Blizzaga and chose to buy pro rings for the 3 characters who are going to remain alive, whereas Captain picked up 2 copies of the most powerful ice spell in the game, and is choosing instead to eschew the armor.
Interesting. I wonder how that's going to work out. There's a you made 1 or 2 battles against the Blue Dragons, which require 2 casts of Blizzaga. That will take Preucheu longer to do.
Yeah, but on the other hand, Blizzaga plus Thundaga plus a monk melee does take them out quite nicely, so it is a little bit of a time loss, but also Preucheu's going to have to save, he's going to have to spend less time healing up from the extra melee hits.
Whoa, where's Captain going? He's going back. Did he forget to buy armor?
Oh, he might have realized that he ran by the armor shop by accident.
Oh, was that a ruby armlet he bought?
That was a single ruby armlet, yes.
Interesting. Did he? So this is typically the last place that you have to stock up on items. You usually just max out all of your potions and ethers and phoenix downs. There is another spot strategically you can do this later. However, maybe Captain was opting for the ruby armlet for more protection.
Yeah, like, I know a lot of runners will stock up on resources in Onrak after they finish the Sea Shrine, where Preucheu is right now, because the item shop is right there. I personally, if I have to go back and buy haste, will use that as an excuse to top off my items, because you have to run by the item shop in Elfland to get to the level 4 magic shops anyway.
Okay, we'll see how this plays out. Very interesting. I like to see the slight diversion in strategy. So Preucheu running headfirst into the Sea Shrine because he released that fairy, which was nice enough to fill that bottle full of oxyale, which allows him to breathe underwater. So he takes that oxyale, heads into the Sea Shrine, and is picking up a few things. He gets down one path of the dungeon, picks up a diamond armlet, which is one of the strongest defensive armors for his characters. And then he also picks up this Rosetta Stone, which is the slab that allows him to translate a lost language of Lufinian, which will allow him to get another item a little later in the game to progress.
Lupa.
There is nothing worse than forgetting to either pick up the slab or to translate the slab, getting all the way to that town and just getting gibberish out of the NPCs because you forgot a step. There are a number of pitfalls in this game where if you just forget to do one thing in order, the entire run falls apart, and this is one of those moments. So Preucheu remembered to grab that Rosetta Stone, which is usually not forgotten. We'll just make sure that he completes the rest of the steps to make sure he learns that language.
Yeah, I've never forgotten to translate the Rosetta Stone live on GDQ or anything.
Ooh, that one felt personal. You could feel it.
Oh yeah, no, that was I had a moment.
And Captain following the same steps. He's going in there. He's picking up the diamond armlet. We'll see who he equips it on. He did pick up a ruby armlet, so he's going to be fairly well defended. And then they'll backtrack back to the main floor dungeon, and they'll head down the other side, which is where Preucheu is going now. Once he gets down that area, there are a few treasures he's going to want to pick up. One of them being the second ribbon, for all the reasons we listed about how great that ribbon is. And then the other item he's going to want to pick up is the Giant's Glove. So the Giant's Glove, in this game, there are a handful of items that you can use in battle. They do not get expended, so you can use them as many times as you'd like as an item in battle, and they cast statuses or spells. So in this case, for the Giant's Glove, it casts the spell Saber, which upon the user allows you, I think it increases your strength per hit, and then also increases your accuracy. And this is going to be a strategy we see used on the Fiends, as well as the last boss.
Yeah, Saber is an interesting spell because it's a level 7 black magic spell. And it's strictly better than Temper in every way, except it can only be targeted on the self. So if you have your black mages pick it up, they can only use it to buff their own attack. The nice thing about the Giant's Glove is because it's on an item, anyone can use it. So we'll be spending a lot of time in upcoming boss fights. Kraken is not one of them. But the strategy is to stack as many buffs on that monk as possible. We bought Temper. We saw it actually used to good effect earlier, and I don't think we commented on it. Even one or two casts of Temper on the monk or the fighter will cause them to do significant amounts of extra damage. Additionally, Haste is my vote for most powerful spell in the game. It doubles the amount of swings that the recipient does every time they do a melee attack. So if our monk is punching, say 20 times to start, well, they won't. It actually caps at 16. But with haste, it goes up to 32. So that's basically double damage, including the extra chance to hit critical hits. Add in the speed potion to up those number of hits. Add in the Giant's Glove for basically a combination Temper and speed potion. And our monks are going to be doing an extra digit of damage compared to anything else we've seen so far.
Absolutely, and that's why we choose him to be in the party, as well as choose to unpetrify him just at the right time, because that is the later boss strategy, is to just buff the mess out of your monk as the offensive tank, and then just at a certain point unleash him on the fiend. Usually, for most fiends, it's just a couple of hits at that point. For Chaos, it's a few more than that, as well as a few more buff stacks, and we'll get to that strategy later. But in the meantime, the boss of the Sea Shrine here is Kraken, and Kraken is susceptible to just a handful of Thundaga spells, 6 to be exact. 6 is the magic number, so if he can get 6 Thundagas on Kraken, that should take him down, as long as Kraken doesn't hit him. There are only a couple things Kraken can do. He can hit, or he can ink you. To the mages, ink does nothing, but a melee attack on a mage could possibly wipe him out at this point.
Definitely, I would say definitely wipe out any one of the mages at this point.
They have armor on them.
Okay, maybe there's a chance.
Hopefully
I usually just assume that if Kraken punches one of my mages, they're dead.
Let's see.
It's safer that way.
Yes, and Kraken, it's a 50% chance to attack and a 50% chance to ink. So we may see a lot of inks. We may see a lot of melees. Let's see what he does. Ink, of course, does nothing.
And of course, the good news is, because we still have the team petrified, even if we see the 50% chance to melee, there's still a 75% chance that it does nothing.
So yeah, Kraken is usually the least worried about Fiend in the run. But he always has that chance. There's always a chance. And the moment you think it's not going to happen is the moment he does it.
Yeah.
And he has 8 arms. He's got 8 tentacles. I mean, that's why he hits so hard.
Yeah, he's also a really good hugger. Like, so good at hugging that your mage will hit the ground from just pure huggedness. I don't know. I don't know words. I barely speak English.
So Preucheu wrapping Kraken up with first attempt. And yes, because they spent all that money on armor before, they're going back one more time to stack up on the rest of the items they need. So he's going to max out on his high potions, get all of his ethers, get his phoenix downs, and then move along. I expect, since Captain spent all that money on those ruby armlets, he is going to do the same thing. Use all the cash he picked up here in the Sea Shrine to top off his items. And then they're going to take off and get that Rosetta Stone translated.
I mean, the cash doesn't do anything for you if you bring it in to the final dungeon, so you might as well burn through it.
That's true. Now, again, in PB attempts, you know, it's up extra couple of seconds here, extra couple of seconds there. But in a race, you know, you want to take as many advantages that you can, and it's just a couple of seconds to jump back in and go.
Yeah. Preucheu stopping to pick up silver armlets, which we talked about earlier, finally picking them up as we swing back through Melbourne real quick to talk to a nerd in a graveyard, learn how to speak a language. But
Captain
that's going to be it for
bypassing.
shopping.
Captain bypassing because he does not need to buy it. He bought that ruby armlet. So another couple of seconds time saved to keep him neck and neck with Preucheu.
Mm-hmm. As Preucheu immediately jets off towards the north, going straight for the town of Lefane, flying past the Mirage Tower. God, I wish I could just go in there right now.
Just drop off at the top, right? I mean, in Final Fantasy VI, you can just drop right to the top of Kefka's tower. Why can't we just, you know, drop to the top of this tower?
Right?
All right, Captain going right behind him. The only reason to stop in this town is to get the chime, which is another key in getting through the Mirage Tower and up to the Sky Castle. Nothing
Sky
really
Cave,
else.
Sky Cave, Sky Cave.
Sky Cave. Yeah, nothing really else to do except push the NPCs out of your way. In this town, there are some level 8 spells, but our runners have no need to get a level 8 spell. They can't even use it because they chose not to go to the Citadel of Trials and upgrade their characters to their final form. It just takes too long, and things that take too long get thrown out of the run.
Yep. And, like, at this point, even if we were already promoting, Nuke just doesn't do enough damage to really be worth it. Or, you know, Blizzaga, Thundaga, Firaga all do enough damage on their own to take care of the trash encounters, and we are not going to be throwing magic at any of the bosses from here on out. They either all resist our various spells, or just have sufficiently high magic defense that it's just not worth it.
And so they're both returning to their airships, where they will fly up to the other side of this mountain range, land on that tiny little patch of grass, and then hope and pray they make it to the Mirage Tower unscathed. Looks like Preucheu is going to do that just fine.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Preucheu entering in just seconds ahead of Captain. looks like he's about 10, 12 seconds back. This is still anybody's game.
Oh yeah, no.
Tiamat can be a fickle beast as well.
Yeah, at this point, any one of the upcoming bosses can just decide, nah, you take another try. You know, do not pass go, do not collect $200, re-roll that fight.
And let's do a quick HP check. Looks like the HP totals have really started to balance out a little bit. Over on Preucheu's side, he's got 200 and 178 on his mages, where Captain's got 215 and 214. And not the biggest of deals, but I don't know how many times I've seen a mage down at 10 HP during a boss fight before, and that's the difference between living and dying. So the other character we're looking at is that monk. It looks like Preucheu is at 282, and Captain has gotten over 300. We'd love to see, at least 350 would be nice, but he is going to get buffed with those Giants tonics later in the final battle. So trying to get him as close to 999 HP in that final KX fight.
Yeah, if runners get literally absurd amounts of luck, you can see the monk getting up to 500 HP at the level we're at. 300 is where you want to be for the chaos fight, as like the minimum threshold. I'm usually hoping I have 250 HP on the monk to go into the first Tiamat fight. Both of our runners are in a really good spot with their monk's HP. Especially as they keep taking extra encounters to get...
Oh! Preucheu getting hit with a flare from a random enemy.
Yep.
Oh,
that is the one random encounter that can cast that spell.
And he did. Luckily, he had built up a slightly larger lead before it happened. But again, this is just Captain taking advantage of the things that are before him and crawling right back.
Yeah, it also helps that the game does auto-save every single time there's a screen transition. So going up that teleporter right there, both of our runners saved. If they die, they will reset on the floor they're currently on.
So yeah, not too much time lost, but just enough to keep it even closer.
Chat saying, imagine if there wasn't autosave? I can. That's how the GBA speedrun works, and you basically save scum across entire floors. It's ridiculous. And Captain taking a moment to rearrange the party, putting that monk down in the back row effectively, only going to be a 1 in 8 to get targeted by single target attacks, which is really nice because the only character you care about living through these fights is that monk. As our runners are now both on the same floor of this dungeon. On this 4th floor, the infinite floor maze, you just go 2 up or down and 2 left or right, and you'll be on the next floor. The minimap helps a lot with that. It's always interesting to see which way runners go, even though it is just as fast any which way. But on the next floor, chat, get ready. We're coming up on the hype floor.
Let's go. Warmech time.
Also, chat pointing out, Captain is the first one on the 5th floor. Captain is the first one who might give us a peek at a Warmech. This is anyone's race at this point.
Oh, no Warmech for Captain.
Well, we've still got Preucheu's path forward. There is still a chance.
Preucheu going through that Mobius strip level to get to that top floor.
Yeah, there's a Tiamat fight going on, but I am watching for that robot.
Me too. So Captain is going to employ that strategy we talked about, where he will buff his monk as much as he can, and then unleash that monk on Tiamat. Did take an AoE spell.
Yeah, the other thing to watch out for Tiamat is her AoE skills are deadly. You'll notice that first Fire Breath did about half of everyone's hit points. So we see Captain menuing one of the Black Mages away from casting Temper and onto a High Potion to try and keep that Monk alive. Tiamat comes out with the melee swing, but the Monk lives with 7 HP! This is why those hit points make so much of a difference. Another High Potion comes out, the Monk is back to full temporarily, gets the double. This fight looks like it's going to be over soon for Captain. Over on Preucheu's side, healing is starting to come out now as Tiamat melees a statue. Monk hit comes out. One more should do it. Blaze comes out. That's not going to kill. And both of our runners are done.
Seconds apart. They are literally neck and neck. They both get a first try Tiamat, which is one of those bosses that can really cause trouble. We know.
Yeah, I've had some really strong PB attempts. Just get up to Tiamat 1. My monk only has like 230 HP, and she's just like, eh.
And that's part of this game, is that every fiend in this game can absolutely end a run.
Well, except maybe this next one.
Except maybe, yeah, correct. Maybe this next one. So, if you guys all remember, we skipped Gurgu Volcano, and this is the time that we have to go back and polish it off. But we are severely OP at this point. So we're going to fly down to that volcano. None of the battles are even worth taking. None of the items are worth picking up. And what you're going to see them do is just run as quickly as possible through this volcano, over those lava tiles, which cause a tiny amount of damage.
Yeah, if you're familiar with speedruns of prior versions of this game, the pathing through this volcano looks a little bit different because we do have the ability to move diagonally, but also, on average, our runners are going to take a lot more encounters here in this volcano. That's because, unlike in previous versions of the game, damage tiles still generate threat towards the next random encounter. So you see a lot more random encounters than you would in, say, PSP or GBA or whatever.
Oh, the pathing.
We see Captain taking a few extra steps, trying to burn off an encounter before going down to the next floor. I actually really like that.
Another bit of strategy, of course, to help expedite the path through the volcano. And then, again, it's just a mad dash through this volcano. We're not stopping for anything. Preucheu doing the same trick to try and reduce his encounter. Captain on the last floor of the volcano. Last encounter before he gets to Merilith. Where they're going to employ the same strategy of buffing the monk, but because Merilith is not as strong as the others, maybe they don't buff as much and just melee away.
Yeah, I believe the strategy here is you do one round of Giant's gloves before starting to swing away with the monk.
Yep, and then you hope for good turn order and get those tempers before you unleash. So Captain getting into that battle with Merilith. First, just a few seconds ahead of Preucheu, who is now going to heal up and get into it.
Yeah.
Still neck and neck. There are a number of fiends left. So once they've completed Merilith, that is the 4 fiends, And the next step is to fly back to the Temple of Fiends, the Chaos Temple, and then take the wrong warp 2,000 years into the past, where all these fiends are alive again. So you will see all of these fiends one more time in a much more powerful state, and they will have to defeat them one more time before reaching Chaos.
But along the way, we have a dungeon, the longest dungeon in the game, and also the dungeon that has the most powerful random encounters you can find in this game. Random encounters, a little less of an issue than the boss fights. We're actually in a really good spot to just take them, but they can eat up time if they start behaving badly.
Yep, that's the big balance at the point is what do you take, what do you pass on, how much more do you need? It looks like Captain's monk is over 300 HP. You'd like to have a little bit more. He'll probably gain a level or two before he gets to Chaos, but I suspect he's going to be fairly selective on his way to Chaos.
Yeah, Preucheu might take a few more encounters. 319 on the monk is actually quite good as well.
Again, any single death to any of these fiends will either widen or narrow this small gap between these two runners right now.
Yeah, and if it's late into the fight, that might just straight up be a lead change.
Let's go ahead and recognize that they're cruising through this first floor of the Chaos Shrine at the 140 mark. This is still a incredible pace, which is a testament to how good these runners are. Good luck or bad luck, these guys are absolutely hauling through this game.
Yeah, I just pulled up my PB splits just to get an idea of how good these runners are doing in comparison, and I don't even get into this dungeon for another 30 seconds in my PB.
Yeah, so at this point they're easily cruising for sub 2. I know that was a question in the chat. They're as long as the fiends are nice and chaos isn't chaos, because the chaos battle can last half an hour if it wants to.
Well, it's not the chaos fight. Experience. It's several chaos fights back to back at that point.
Correct. The chaos fights can end quickly. They can take a while. Chaos is heavily RNG.
God, I hope it's heavily RNG
yeah,
for the
right?
sake of these runners.
Heavily RNG. But you can get lucky and get him first try, or literally it could take you half an hour to beat him if he just decides to cast Flare or something over and over and over again. He's got such a large quantity of spells that hurt, that are non-elemental, so your ribbon doesn't do you any good. He has the opportunity to heal himself. He can cast haste on himself, and when he does that, again, haste doubles your number of hits, and I've seen a hasted chaos hit over 1,000. There's nothing you can do at that point. There's no amount of HP you can have to survive a hit like that. So it's a tough fight, and you just hope for the best RNG.
And again, these are two of the best runners of this game.
Absolutely, and it was in the last battle between these two where Preucheu came out on top. It was really they were all on their third or fourth iteration of that chaos fight, and it was just a matter of who gets the better RNG chaos at the end. It looks like it's going to shape up to be something very similar in this race as well.
Yeah. And as you can see, our runners are balancing, what spells they're casting versus running away versus trying to squeak out a little bit of extra XP for those little bit of extra HP growths. Preucheu's monk has overtaken Captain's monk in the HP totals again, but Captain's down on the earth floor. This is where we start seeing the elemental fiends showing up at the end, but all of the encounters are themed around, the 4 elemental dungeons that we faced previously, which is why we're seeing the earth elementals show up.
Yep, and I think Preucheu has gotten a little ahead on HP. He's taken a few more battles than Captain has. So Captain has time-wise gotten a little bit further ahead, while Preucheu gets that extra HP.
Yeah. Captain popping up and down finds another encounter, which will be great. That's one you don't have to deal with on the next floor, but it's Lich time.
Yep, let's see what Lich does. He now can flare you to death. As well as
that was an elixir throw, not a giant's glove. That's a reset.
Yep, that will happen. So menuing is incredibly important, and as well as the quick save before you do it. If you accidentally throw something important, like an elixir, that's an instant reset. You have to have those elixirs for chaos.
Yeah, Lich has a couple of nasty things that can come out. The first one is that flare, as we see. That's off.
To do?
That
He chooses to take a death. He's going to wait for Lich to flare him to death, which is going to allow Preucheu to take the lead again. Preucheu now in the lead by a matter of 3 or 4 seconds. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. That flare is, by and large, a death sentence for the party if you see it before you get the monk buffed. The other big terrifying thing that Lich can do is Lich's melee attacks have stun touch attached to them, and stun touch paralyzes the party member if it procs. Paralysis means you don't do anything, and there's a 25% chance at the end of each of your turns that it falls off. So if your monk gets paralyzed, you have to sit there and wait, and you could be there for a while as Preucheu's Lich crumbles just moments before Captain's does. Oh, this race is so close.
Oh, this is incredible. Yeah, so that one slip by Captain of his menuing caused him to have to take that unnecessary reset, which has turned the tides. We're neck and neck. The next battle will be against Merilith. Not entirely as dangerous as some of the other fiends can be, but still has the opportunity to slay your monk, which would be the worst case scenario.
Yeah, Merilith's melees are very strong, let's say. If she decides to melee your monk, there is a good chance that your monk just dies. Other than that, her spells aren't very scary, so all you have to do is hope. Well, you saw what happened to Captain's Black Mage there.
Yep, right there, it happens. So that should buy Preucheu just a few more seconds, getting an extra buff or two, and may, come out slightly ahead. Just getting absolutely meleeed to death by Merilith. Oh, and
there goes the Pyraga for the wipe. Oh, that is brutal.
That is a tough battle to lose, because typically Merilith does not melee that many times in a row. You usually expect her to cast Pyraga a few more times.
Yeah, like that is some bad RNG. Preucheu even gets the monk meleeed right at the last minute. Does not matter because Merilith goes down before she can get another swing off. But yeah.
Bringing up my notes, Merilith is supposed to melee only 40% of the time. And she was just going ham on Captain's party, unfortunately. Hopefully he can get through this battle quickly.
This one looks like it's over.
It's over, and Preucheu is progressing through the Sea Shrine level. This one tends to have a few dangerous enemies. Nothing too crazy. For me, I always seem to find packs of 9 enemies, which slows everything down as you wait for them to attack.
Yeah, the Seafood Party pack isn't exactly great, but Water Elementals have a shockingly high amount of XP return. So if you hit them with a Blizzaga, you can actually get some really good experience points down here while you're going.
Oh, same goes for those depots. This is another place that if you need a lot of experience, this is the place where you want to take the battles.
Yeah, like, if I'm feeling behind on experience once I'm in my Fiend fights, this is where I would start going, okay, I'm not going to just have everyone run away, I'm going to try and blast away at some of these enemies.
Great flea luck. He is almost caught completely up, and he has started the Kraken fight earlier than Preucheu.
Kraken,
the lead.
Again,
honestly, had great flea luck.
Yeah, honestly, I find that Kraken 2 is less scary than Kraken 1, because there is only one party member who matters here to get meleeed. And Kraken 2 also has the ability to cast the Nara, which, lol, Lamau even.
Okay, so we're hoping he doesn't melee the monk is what we're going for, and we're just going to go ahead and unleash him on Kraken. Let's go.
Yeah, the only way this fight goes badly is if your monk gets punched.
Pretty much.
As Captain retakes the lead.
Ow. Okay, so he's moving along. This is a short level. They will not go off the beaten path to get that Masamune. There's no reason for it. The fists of the monk are sufficient. And he will move over and start the battle with Tiamat 2, another fiend that can easily take your party out. We'll see what he does for Captain first.
Yep, you usually only see one encounter on the air floor and then one encounter on the final floor.
Okay, and so as we get through Tiamat, using the exact same strategies that we used for the other fiends, we can talk quickly about the strategies we're going to see for Chaos. Very similar, except they're going to have to use more buffs. You're going to see more uses of the Giant's Glove. You're going to see more uses of Temper or their speed potions that we picked up. But the very first thing that they need to do is defend against Chaos by increasing that monk's HP. So we'll see the tonics, the Giant's tonics used first to buff up that monk to at least 900 HP, and then from there we're going to buff and heal until we can unleash the monk on Chaos. So
yeah,
we'll keep an eye on that as Captain wraps up the Tiamat fight just ahead of Preucheu.
So Tiamat here has 5,500 hit points. Chaos has 20,000. Even if we're hitting as hard as we were on Tiamat.
No.
Oh no!
Preucheu takes a death to Tiamat, and he was one hit away.
Captain is going to get a very nice head start on this Chaos fight.
So as you can see, Captain entering at 151. Incredible pace. Let's see how his Chaos goes. I mean, an ideal Chaos fight with great RNG, you're looking at potentially about a 2-minute battle.
Yeah, 2 to 3. So
let's see what Chaos does to Captain. So Captain, like I said, is starting to tonic up his monk. A Firaga is not the worst thing to see.
Yeah, honestly, that I'd argue that's like as close to optimal as you could expect.
Sure.
The best things you can see out of Chaos are Earthquake, because our party has the ribbons, so that's basically going to do nothing. Or a melee on the fighter. Firaga and Blizzaga are close seconds. Beyond that, it starts getting really, really sketchy early on. Now that we've
down. Captain's lost one monk, which is a buffing character essentially. But all in all, this isn't the worst Chaos in the world. He's getting speed drinks off. He's getting Giant's Glove casted.
Yeah, and he's staying relatively healthy.
And a monk hanging around. Sorry, the Black Mage hanging around with 2 HP.
Yeah, no, this is a really, really solid first attempt. That Cyclone coming out, gonna do a fair bit of damage. But I think we're getting close to the point where Captain can just start swinging away.
Yep. Those black mages hanging on with just a little bit more HP allowed him to get all those buffs. He's hitting for 4 to 5k per hit. He just has to survive. Oh no! If he can get turn order here. Oh, thank goodness. He got an X potion off, replenishing everything. He looks like he might be okay. I'm not going to predict it. Just a few more hits.
Yeah, this should do it. This should do it. In time!
Boom! 153 from Captain. Incredible. With all that bad luck, he climbs back, taking the lead, losing the lead, taking back the lead. Wow. That is incredible. While Preucheu doing the exact same thing on his side, I was glued to Captain's screen for sure. And Captain, with that, ties it up 1-1. It's going to go to a winner-take-all match. Ooh.
And if you thought this race was hype, you're going to want to be here for that one.
Absolutely. This, again, just like the first of the tournament, it was neck and neck going into chaos, and it was almost exactly like this. It was so close. It looks like Preucheu has gotten his buffs in. He is starting to attack, taking a melee from Chaos. Ooh, who cures himself? He can do that, which is terrible.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get some turn order here. No! When Chaos starts doing melee, it can really jam up the gears. Here we've got Captain joining us. Captain, congratulations on the win.
Whew. Thank you.
Yeah, that was incredible. You guys were neck and neck the entire time. You had some terrible luck at the beginning, but then it started to turn around. You got the X-Pot drop. You just start clawing away little tiny seconds here and there. It took the lead an hour and a half into the match. You lost it with a little bit of a menu fumble on Lich 2, but then you catch up on the Kraken floor, and then you get that chaos. I mean, tell us, what's going through your head?
Oh man, well, at first I got the hit of adrenaline, so I had to go run around a little bit to burn some of that off. But man, that beginning was just disgusting, and I mean, I was seriously down in the dumps there from that beginning. But I mean, just the luck after that was nuts, and then Chaos let us have it. Not the best Chaos start, but I mean, it worked. So
absolutely, and to pull a 153 after all that terrible luck in the beginning. I mean, that walk to Preucheu, I was crying for you. Just losing the characters and having to heal. It was rough.
Yeah, definitely. I was very surprised I was able to make back the time, but with just great HP luck and a good chunk of encounters, I mean, I was able to make it up. So just showing that RNG can just really give it to you. In the other sense, give it back to you, I guess.
Yeah, the game can take and the game can take away for sure. Looks like, oh no. Speaking of taking away,
that is the worst flare. Holy.
Oh,
gosh.
Just not getting any luck whatsoever on Chaos, which is a complete 180 from the luck he was getting at the beginning of this game. I don't know if Captain, you were hearing any of what we were saying, but Preucheu's luck at the beginning of this game was incredible, and we'll ask him about it afterwards. But I mean, the number of Buccaneers he ran into, the Mithril Sword drop, I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah, no, this run was an absolute treat to watch, and I can't wait. I honestly think when you sit down and go watch this back, because you should, you will just be blown away by, not only were you both neck and neck the entire time, And switching back and forth, the lead changed multiple times over the course of the run, but even then, neither of you were more than a minute ahead of the other over the entire run until literally this chaos fights.
Wow. I mean, Final Fantasy 1 for you, right? Am I right?
Yeah.
And it was incredible. Some of the lead changes, like was it at an hour and a half in, you take the lead, and then again menu flubs on Lich 2. Was that you casted an elixir instead of the Giant's gloves?
Yeah, I didn't expect the elixir to be in the last slot. I was expecting it definitely to be Giant's Glove, so that just caught me off guard there. And
Yeah, and
obviously I had to
that allowed
immediately reset.
Preucheu to jump ahead of you by exactly 3 seconds. And then solely, we're going to say, there's the RNG of the game. You had better flee luck than he did on Kraken's floor. And so you were able to get the Kraken first.
What can I tell you? My black mages they're just too fast.
They were fast and thick. We were commenting the entire time. As Preucheu takes another death, this is hard. Your mages were, I guess we'll call them healthy. You had some healthy mages the entire duration of this, which paid off. I mean, there were a couple times, I think even during the chaos fight, your mage was hanging around with 20 HP after taking some damage.
Oh, that's one of the reasons why we stayed in Cornelia for so long on the sea walk. It's just to have those black mages eat their Wheaties and buff up, hit the weights a little bit. So
yeah, you knew it was coming. I mean, the foresight you have is incredible. So going back over to Preucheu's side, this is one of the things you hate to see. I can't tell you how many, and every runner has experienced this, that plays this game, is you get to chaos with an incredible pace. I mean, these guys both got here with 151 on the timer, only to spend 10, 20 minutes on chaos. In excess of that, 30 minutes. I've seen it. It's heartbreaking to watch, but this is the life of a Final Fantasy 1 pixel remaster runner. The chaos.
yeah, this is quite rough. I mean, his HP values are pretty good, but Chaos just not letting him get past. Usually, if you get past 2 turns with everybody alive, you're sitting very nice to at least have a shot at it. And I mean, those mages going down turn 2 is just gross, in my opinion.
And yeah, and for some of you guys, I mean, usually, a first try chaos is great, outstanding. Second try, third try is kind of what you expect going in. Anything more than 4 or 5 attempts is just, it's gone at that point. You've had bad luck.
Definitely. And Preucheu's showing us right here the meaning of 3 full heals is just allowing this fight to happen. Without that third, it would already be over.
Yep.
Yeah.
They call him the casino boss for a reason. This is it. He's employing the exact same strategy that everybody else uses. The same one Captain used, and Preucheu falls to. Was that a hasted hit?
Oh yeah, that was a punch for over 700, like 750,
yes.
Honestly.
It's never good to see a haste casted on chaos. I mean, it's a free turn where you're free to make your turn without taking any damage. But the other side of that coin is he's now going to be slamming whoever he melees with an attack that's possibly unrecoverable. Oh, a bad first round. You hate to see a mage go down when you're really trying to get your Giant's tonics off. Another melee, 2 in a row on a non-petrified character.
And there goes the monk.
Yeah, with the 50% chance at the top shot slot, it's just, man, it's terrible.
Yeah. Like, if I'm in Preucheu's shoes, I am okay with, trying to run this out. But, there is no shame in saying, okay, Chaos, you got me. I'll see you game 3. He has
Who
done
hasn't
an
rage quit?
incredible run up until this point. This is just the way this run goes sometimes.
Yeah, I want to say I'd have to take a look back at the results of all the matches played in both the round robin and the playoff tournament, but a 153 pace would which they were both on. They were both on that 153 pace. Would have probably beaten most of the runs this entire tournament.
Yeah, looking at the Preucheu's previous record for the tournament, his tournament PB is a 154.
You're saying
so
So you're saying next race I just need to get a sub 154 and it's in the bag. All right. Good to know.
that's it. That's all you had to do.
Easy.
Oh,
Easy.
another melee. Come on, Chaos. Oh, this is now 10 solid minutes fighting Chaos, everybody. This is the bad luck that can occur. We've all been here, right, Captain?
Oh yeah, this feels definitely like when I was in the Final Fantasy Relay back in August. 18 minutes here at Chaos. It was really rough.
And when you're just racing for PBs on your own, you can rage quit and just start over. But he's gonna finish strong. One of these battles will work out for him. Oh, like I said, the haste is a blessing and a curse. So he hasted himself, but Preucheu got a free turn out of it. As long as Chaos decides not to melee like a madman.
Oh,
1145 on the Black Mage.
can't even
Disgusting.
buff over that. That's gross.
Slow on the Black Mage does nothing, so that's another free turn. A flare. Gross. So now it's just down to the monk. Another haste, which you can't get hasted any more than once. So it's another free turn, but then, of course, Chaos decides not to hit the petrified character and go after the monk. I agree, Lukey. This is probably the worst Chaos this tournament. This is rough.
I mean, insult to injury, he low rolled too. So with the full hill, Preucheu might have been able to get out of it, but there's almost no reason to full heal if Chaos is hasted, because you can expect to see something in the 900s.
Is that at what point do you just throw strategy and numbers out the window and you just reverse the order of all your characters? He seems to be picking on the low percentage guys.
I mean, the moment you do that, you know Chaos is going to stop going for the bottom slots. Like, Chaos has a vendetta or something, it seems.
There we go. An attack on the petrified character. It's a free turn. He's already getting. Oh, here goes the mage. So now it is just man on man. I believe it's a hasted Chaos, right? That was the first turn. Oh, thank goodness the slow was on the petrified character. So a slow is another death sentence on the monk, given that it'll take his haste away. Alright, you can survive that. Need a nice turn to cure. Got good turn order, outstanding. Which allows him to take that Cyclone. See if he buffs just a little bit more. Nice.
Yeah.
Melee on the petrified character, and then another melee on the monk. I think he's got one more potion. Oh, come on!
Oh, rude!
You have got to be kidding me. This is brutal.
This is just how Chaos goes sometimes. Like, there's literally nothing you can really do about it.
Nope. You just gotta ride it. Like, yeah, this is really rough. Again, he got Chaos at around 151-ish, 152. So We're now looking at 15 minutes on Chaos. It can and happens. All right, so he gets his Giant's Tonics off unscathed. Cures himself another free turn. This one is looking better. It's a speed drink and his gloves and a heal. Let's keep buffing. Come on.
This is
one monk. That was his healing monk. Or, sorry, Black Mage. His healing Black Mage. They're all blue. They all start.
I heard he lost his monk, and I'm like, oh god, that's a wipe.
Nope. I'm getting delirious here.
I see Chaos is starting to inflict damage on, the commentators, in addition to the
Absolutely.
runners.
Fatigue of the eyes. But no, it looks like it's going okay. He's gotten a lot of free turns, a couple of Kiragas.
Yeah, this is a really good spot to be. Another free round to buff. Like, if I'm him, I'm breathing, the heaviest sigh of relief right now that I finally get a chance to swing for 4K.
And he safety heals
I
while
love it.
Chaos hastes himself.
Yeah, just gotta survive 2 more rounds, probably.
There we go. There we go. Oh, man.
That's how it's done.
That's the Chaos we wanted at the beginning.
GG. Unfortunately, Chaos sat here and decided to, make Preucheu do the whole song and dance of just like, la 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 la, you can't kill me. But, that was well done, well fought. I loved all of the little micro-optimizations during that fight that you could do.
Yeah, everybody had just their slight tweaks. It was a very similar run. The small little differences in the race that were small, but they made seconds here and seconds there, and we saw the lead change, 3, 4, 5 times. Made for a very, very exciting run. You guys are going to want to most certainly rewatch that one. Preucheu, I am so sorry that you had to go through that chaos.
Well, it's the game.
That's pretty much what we had to explain. Is that's the way chaos can go. I mean, you gave us an incredible race up until chaos. It was absolutely neck and neck. I mean, we were just absolutely drooling over the early game luck that you had. You were encountering Buccaneers left and right. You got the Mithril Sword drop. I mean, those are the kinds of things where you would just you'd give a kidney during a PB run. I mean, for that kind of luck.
Yeah, for sure. My beginning was crazy. Yeah, but after that, I really thought I was ahead, so maybe I played a little too relaxed. But the run was good. Was really good.
Yeah,
I had,
and
1 or 2 days, but no big matter time loss. And GG Captain, you deserved it.
Absolutely, you guys were neck and neck the entire time. When you watch it back, you'll see you guys traded the lead multiple times. It was sometimes just the sake of RNG that got one of you ahead of the other, where he might have been fleeing faster than you did, and it was those tiny little minute things all the way up until you guys both got to chaos at the end, and just like the first game you guys played against each other, it came down to who Chaos wanted to win, and so Chaos wanted to see a game 3.
Yeah.
And so with that, does anybody? I mean, I'm absolutely looking forward to a game 3. I think we all are, if they're going to be as exciting and entertaining as the first 2. So we will keep everybody posted on when and where that will be. As far as any last comments, do you guys have any last things to say before we go ahead and close out?
chaos, I will have my revenge.
Captain?
Just GG Preucheu. That was rough, but I look forward to our final battle.
Yeah, it will be epic.
Leggy, anything from you?
Oh, what a race. What a show. Thank you both. And, no matter who wins the next duel that you've got coming up, you both have put on an incredible show, and I cannot wait to watch it.
Absolutely. GG's to both you guys. Thank you to the fans and to everybody that's tuned in. Do it again for the third one. I'm absolutely looking forward to it. It's going to be awesome. So with that, we say have a good afternoon or evening or morning, wherever you're tuning in from. And we will see you next time.
Thank you. And thanks you for